Star Wars characters. Where
I hear he's doing some.
It's all about someone's death stick problems, and they're just like their descent into the Coruscant underworld and all the horrible sexual things they have to do to keep their death stick addiction up. And
you'd still watch that though.
Oh, I would watch it, but it would not do mass well. A whole movie about Ethan Sleazebagano, the character from The Drug Dealer. But I'm just saying, I wonder if this will stunt his growth as a filmmaker because he has to. I don't know how much they're going to make him fall in line. I know Oscar Isaac, actually, I literally read today Oscar Isaac was like, wow, it's going to be different than the last episode because it's a little bit more nuanced in this and that, but you got to say that. You can't be no, I'm shooting this new Star Wars movie and it's not feeling as good as the last one.
Well, hold on. Well, we got to bring everyone back because we ran into some tech issues. We've just started restreaming. I think the audio is mostly fixed, but to bring everyone back into it, you're watching the Film Geek Army podcast if you didn't know.
Hey.
You guys are talking about Sleazebagano, and I think you've moved on to talking about episode 5. Or episode 8?
Well, we were talking about what is episode 8 going to be like? Is that going to be a Rian Johnson movie, or is that going to be more emulation? Because he also yes, he's making his own Star Wars movies and he wrote his own Star Wars movie, but he also is kind of picking up the bag that J.J. Abrams left to go I have to be visually consistent and I'm working for Disney and I have to deliver these specific things.
Especially with Disney having so much success with keeping their Marvel universe under such strict control to the point of Edgar Wright walking off. I feel like they're going to do the same thing with Star Wars.
I hear he's getting pretty weird on this Star Wars, though.
Who? Rian Johnson?
Yeah.
I fucking hope so. The thing is, I loved The Force Awakens, but I'm tired of reskins of stories I've already seen.
Did you read the statement from CinemaCon that whenever J.J. Abrams was there talking about The Force Awakens?
What did he say?
And it was he's if you watch this movie, and he fully conceded the point of it being a kind of a reskinning of A New Hope.
No, totally.
And he goes, but we had Jakku look just like Tatooine, and Harrison Ford shows up 40 minutes into the movie, and then a full 40 minutes later is whenever Leia finally shows up, and then you don't even see Luke Skywalker till the end. But we kept these familiar story beats and made these places look familiar because we wanted to reintroduce you into the Star Wars universe. And we didn't want you to reject these characters by having the old characters there too soon. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then they go, but these people were completely foreign, and the only thing that we could do to make you feel familiar was to make Jakku Tatooine and have these familiar story beats to where you were really accepting of the character, even though it was a new character that you never knew before.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things where, and I've said it before, it's I think Force Awakens is an okay movie. I enjoyed it. But I can't wait till 8 years from now, whenever all the Star Wars stories and all of the sequels come out, and I think they're gonna turn The Force Awakens into a masterpiece, whether J.J. Abrams made it or not.
Yeah.
Or
all the connecting bits.
Everything's just going to inform that movie to where you're gonna go back and watch it in 10 years and go, fuck, The Force Awakens, man, that was incredible. How did they know? How did they know? But it was literally just great people like Rian Johnson and everybody just going I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna do that with it, and it's gonna make that make sense in J.J. Abrams' movie.
So before we ran into some technical issues, Greg, you were asking me what was my opinion on Rian Johnson's Brothers Bloom, which I love that movie, but it's a sophomore movie. It was his first studio movie after Brick.
Yep.
I have an obsession with people's sophomore film, with their first studio movie. It's because when you watch what someone can do without money, and you're that totally fucking blew my mind. And then the idea that they'll have studio money, it's always super exciting to see what they do with it. Kevin Smith's Mallrats was at a young age.
You didn't go with Memento?
No. No, I'm saying that was my first foray as a kid, because as I was a teenager, everyone was talking about Clerks and stuff, and then seeing Mallrats I think on TV at one time and being whoa, this is the camera's actually moving sometimes, you know what I mean? But then also Following and Memento and then Pi and Requiem. Or Reservoir and Pulp and stuff. And I remember watching Reservoir way after the fact because I loved Pulp Fiction, and I went and watched Reservoir Dogs. My uncles were like, "You're just now watching this movie?" I was like, "Yeah, I just fucking found out about it." But so I love seeing
Richard Kelly sophomore movie. Your favorite, obviously.
Southland Tales. I was the biggest fucking mascot for Southland Tales until I saw it.
Everybody telling me what a disaster that movie was. I was like, I'm sold. I'm still going. You're only making me more excited whenever you're telling me how fucked up this thing is. And then I watch and I go, oh, you're a fucking piece of shit. I feel terrible for Richard
it's got
Kelly.
so
You
many
got to
good
read the
people.
comic book.
That's
to
what I'm
really
saying.
Get the
To get the Justin Timberlake dance
yeah.
number. Lou Taylor Pucci's in it. Like
There
a
was
lot
a
of people.
comic
He was
book
just
tie-in.
really into the Killers at that moment.
If you've never seen Southland Tales, like, I don't know. I mean, that thing could be a fucking midnight movie thing. I mean,
Yeah, it's what's weird is there are people that are really into Southland Tales, and
I
you
believe
can't
it.
talk rationally to those people.
they're on another level. They're on another
They're
level.
like, you just don't even understand it. You need to watch. You don't even get it till your fifth time. Buy the Blu-ray, watch it every day next week, and then we can fucking talk. Because
Then we
until
can
then, you're just a dumb,
start a
ignorant piece
dialogue.
of shit.
All right, Nick, what's going on over on the computer? I see you flipping around.
Yes.
Have we maybe gotten a better audio situation?
Yeah, everyone has been saying that the audio is great. We actually scared someone because his speakers were on full, so when it got good,
Yeah, we figured that was going to happen. Sorry about
it
that.
screwed him over. But I mean, if we're wanting to mention what people are saying, I mean, Steeps McGee, now that the audio is solved, he needs to solve JJ's beret issue.
Yeah, Rusty bought me for this whenever we went to France.
Rusty.
Who's Rusty?
It's
Rusty Griswold.
Oh, okay.
it's a movie reference
No.
for the film podcast.
Wait, this is from movies?
Rusty.
Rusty.
That's back in the days where you could see a pair of Boabs in a PG rated movie.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that movie, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, picking a poke, very catchy."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, what fun antics!" And then all of a sudden that Dutch lady is just like, "Here are
Ah.
boobs, Russ," and I was just like,
Is it a beret though? I mean, it's like, am I Samuel Jackson when I do this? Hey, what's in your wallet?
Man, he's got so much money.
I need a Kangol. Hat. Well, all right, Steve McQueen or whatever. I'm taking it off. All right.
"Man, you
Oh, you won.
just shamed him out of that hat."
Damn it.
I also watched Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
How was that? Isn't Nick Offerman in that, or is that?
Yeah, he's in it for a good
Hot
half
second.
minute.
Yeah.
I don't know. The kid who plays Earl is fan-fucking-tastic,
Yeah.
and I want to see him in a bunch of stuff.
In everything. Yeah.
Did
I really like. He just has a weird quality about him that is just so watchable. And I was like, I hope he gets a good career out of it.
did you ever watch Kings of Summer?
Kings of Summer?
It came out 2 years ago now.
No.
But it was an indie movie, and it's got Nick Offerman, and it's a kind of a coming of age tale, but it's super incredible. Like, it's one of those, like, you hear about, like, Sundance, and you're like, oh, this is great, this little indie, and it got bought and being distributed. And you're like, oh, sure. And then you watch, you go, all right, beat for beat, that's what an indie coming-of-age movie is. But this one's, like, completely inventive and wonderful.
Wow.
It just hit Netflix, which made me brought it up. But, like,
Oh, cool.
I kind of lump all of these movies into, like, this, like, for some reason I always associate Dope with Me and Earl, because I think they came out of the same Sundance. And then, like, Kings of Summer was being mentioned a lot as far as, like, oh, it's this year's Kings of Summer.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, you should check it out if you haven't seen it. I think you
Yeah.
would really enjoy it if any part of you thought Me and Earl, because like all the kids are super great in it.
Yeah.
Well, I think Todd Holland is in it, who's the new Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
I could be
okay.
completely wrong. That could be a total lie.
You're wrong.
So you were talking about how much you liked the lead actor, right?
No, this is not the lead. This is Earl. This is his
Oh.
buddy.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
lead act, like, people are fine in it. It's not a particularly great movie. There's some weird. It goes from being really maudlin to like a very quirky indie, like, you know, mandolin song playing.
Is
in
there
the
is there a
background.
hamburger phone?
And there's no hamburger
All
phone,
right.
but
no home skillet.
But they make their own movies that are all like shitty
Michelle
ripoffs.
Gondry.
Yeah, like they're
kinda-
Be Kind Rewind.
Okay,
like,
so
but
it's a good version of Be Kind and Rewind.
It's better than Be Kind Rewind, which
got a soft spot for Be Kind Rewind.
I only like their Ghostbusters part. I would like Be Kind Rewind if the whole movie was just those characters' version of them doing Ghostbusters. That was fucking.
How did you feel about the
gorgeous.
Michel Gondry Green Hornet though?
I think I've never seen it.
I don't think I've seen it.
Somebody's got homework now.
Yeah, I do.
You know what's funny is I remember reading
Don't even talk to me.
I remember-
You're on Green Lantern's
Yeah.
level.
I remember reading this
Exactly.
article about like Seth Rogen talking about how excited he was about Michel Gondry joining it, and how he was like, I think he had just done that Bjork video that was like all yarn and weird.
Oh, yeah.
So that was like after they released the director's DVD with all like the music videos. Which Jesus, man, I mean,
Those are
Spike Jones.
They're
Chris
really hard to
Cunningham.
get now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got mine.
Yeah, I still got mine too.
That's awesome. Yeah, you just play them at parties.
Yep. I just watched them so many times.
They're so fucking good. Yeah, if you've never seen the director's DVDs, I think they've probably released a few more.
They had. I think they had 2 volumes of
Yeah,
them.
there's Spike Jonze, Chris Cunningham, Michel Gondry, the first wave, and the second wave was I think it was like who's the guy that did music video directors?
Yeah,
mostly.
1 Hour
Michael-
Photo.
Yes, Mark Romanek.
Yeah, Mark
Mark
Romanek.
Romanek, yeah.
And then
Up there.
the guy that did Jonathan Glazer.
Yep.
Did Glazer get
Yes,
one? Because
correct.
Glazer's
Yeah.
up there with fucking.
Yeah, they were all volume 2ers.
Guy
I'm trying to
that
remember who the
did the-
third guy.
The Aphex Twin Monster Man.
Oh,
That's,
that-
that's
yeah,
Chris Cunningham.
Chris
he was
Cunningham.
he was in volume 1.
And he did Rubber Johnny, which if you've ever seen Rubber Johnny, it's like it's the most fucked up short film.
Yep.
It is so fucked up, but it's cool looking.
He's got an eye.
Well, I remember reading this article and Michelle Seth Rogen was talking about when he was talking to Michelle Gondry about like, yeah, and if you want it, like, just do whatever you want in the movie. So he's like, do whatever you want in the movie. If
Well,
you want-
because he got like 11th hour
well, he was saying like
on that from Stephen Chow.
Yeah, but he was also saying like, if you want to put yarn in it, if you want to whatever, like go crazy. And then Michel Gondry was like, the fact that you even said that I put yarn in the movie makes me so upset that that's what people expect of me. Or like he was so mad that like he was like he wanted to make a comic book movie. He wanted
Right.
to make a movie.
I mean,
and he was afraid.
I watched that in
yeah.
the theater. I had really no problems with it. I didn't think it was great or anything, but like I thought it was like popcorn, enjoyable entertainment. And I think the 3D was used so inventively.
Yeah.
Like whenever they did like the Kato vision with like. He's like kicking it through dimensions and like popping out of the screen, and like he's got like shadow versions of himself like trailing, and it's like this stuff that you never saw anybody
Or-
use,
yeah, that's
and then
amazing.
nobody ever used again. And I was just like, because everybody wrote that movie off, and I'm like, nah, there was some real cool Gondry shit in that movie.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some really cool Gondry shit in that movie.
And I did like the idea that I haven't seen it, but it seemed like from the trailers they're going to play up. Like, yeah, no, from the very beginning, Green Hornet's kind of a whatever character,
Yeah,
and
it's all
Kato's
about
the
Kato.
total badass.
Who was the girl? Was that Cameron Diaz?
Yes.
Okay, and the guy, it was Christoph Waltz, right? Was the bad guy?
Yep.
That's crazy.
And James Franco's in the opening scene, if I'm not
Of course he would.
mistaken.
Of course he would be.
I think he plays a gangster in the opening scene
I
that
think-
Christoph Waltz gets to kill.
I think everyone was really still kind of weirded out by skinny Seth Rogen, which only lasted for like 2 movies.
Lasted longer than skinny
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
You guys are so mean. What is this, like US Weekly?
No, I'm not.
Or is it
I'm
Us
not
Weekly?
shaming. I'm just saying, like the time period was shorter.
All right, so we're gonna talk about The Invitation because that's the movie that I saw, and that's
Hey.
a Draft House film you guys have been pushing.
Available now at a theater near you, VOD, iTunes, Steam, and lots of things.
Steampunk?
No.
Is
No.
it available to watch at the Steampunk Bar in Austin? We have a Steampunk Bar in Austin, guys. Move here.
Sorry, there we go. I'm like,
Oh, are we playing the trailer
We're
for
playing the
people?
trailer while we talk. Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I was waiting to talk. 'Cause I'm over like giving Nook the stink eye, and you can probably see it on the webcam. He's like, "We're good." I'm like, "No, you need to hit play."
So should we not talk while that's playing?
No, you can. I don't think they can hear it. They can just hear us. So we're watching the trailer for The Invitation.
Hey, it's
so
Dario from
it's from Game of Thrones, and then I think one of the guys from
Dario number 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dario number 2, and
Dario number 1. Sorry, better casting.
Yep.
yeah, and the guy, the guy from My Morning Jacket's in here as well. I think Jim James is playing he's the lead, right?
Is he really in that?
No,
band?
no,
Logan
just,
Marshall Green?
just indie bearded guy. Actually, he was my only qualm with the whole movie.
Really?
And it's not that I didn't hate him. I just didn't.
Want him to be Tom Hardy?
No.
He is skinny Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
visually.
Jen was like, yeah, he just looks like kind of a scruffy Tom Hardy. I just didn't get.
That guy can't win. With a beard, without a beard, still looks like Tom Hardy's.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I get that. I get that
What a
he's
rough problem to have.
Well,
Jesus.
I get he's playing this emotional character because he, he's playing a guy that him and his ex-wife have lost their kid, so
Right.
he's never kind of really gotten over it. And then they get invited to this dinner by her, and she's very different, and the situation's very odd, and people don't know, what's going on?
Right.
And I obviously don't want to give it way too much, but yeah. So he was kind of a one-note guy, and I get it. It worked for his character, kind of. He was. I don't know. He wasn't very memorable to me. Like, I didn't walk out of that movie going, dude, that guy's going to get so much acting work.
I mean, he gets plenty of acting work.
It's the first I've ever heard of him.
you saw Prometheus, right?
Once and then never
Oh,
again.
yeah, he was Naomi Rapace's love interest. I mean, he's been working. He was on the OC. He was what's his face's brother.
And he's on your wall, apparently.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like he's been in a bunch of stuff.
No,
he puts
yeah.
the ass in Prometheus.
They set him on fire in Prometheus.
What's the bald guy The older dude.
Uh,
that guy's
God,
fucking great.
Yeah,
he's a character dude.
Yeah,
Pops
he's in
up
everything.
He was in Fargo.
Yeah.
Why can't I say
Yeah.
his
And he
name
was
right now?
and he was the Zodiac killer. If you
John Carroll
believe
Lynch.
it.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And Zodiac.
And
No, he's great. Everyone's great. But no. That's the only thing I have to say weird about the movie is that guy didn't really like blow me away with his acting. If anything, I kept feeling like it reminded me of Boyhood, where it's like I like Eller Coltrane, but after a while I'm like, hey dude, why don't you emote or something? Like, why don't you stop saying the line the same way for everything?
No, you can't make me.
Yeah. So, but anyway, besides that, I really, really enjoyed it. I like it more than Your Next I was telling you about, which is like another kind of similar dinner indie movie that's kind of got slasher elements to it. I thought it was really smart. There was never a point where like I rolled my eyes, was like, this is that indie scene in the movie, like, no, it was really well done. It was real smart. The director,
Karun Kusama?
Karun Kusama, who did Girl Fight, then she did Eon Flux, took a long time off between the two.
I snuck in an Eon Flux joke last night at dinner, and it worked. She laughed, and I was like, whew, we're going to be able to hang out and have dinner. Because we're just waiting to say Eon Flux.
Yeah.
Well, I feel so bad for her in the sense because like she had just come putting Michelle Rodriguez on the map.
Yep.
Like
She. What's funny is Corinne actually fought as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, like she trained, like she had previously trained and like actually fought professional fights.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes
it's crazy.
sense. But yeah, so she did Girl Fight like on a low shoestring budget. It came out the gate, made Michelle Rodriguez a big star. And then she did Eon Flux a few years. Like there was a good amount of time between.
Yeah, she got studio crushed on that one.
She,
It's
of
just like-
course she did. It's what you see a lot of times happening now is like you're like, how the fuck did this guy get this huge studio movie? He's done one indie,
That's
and
what they
and you're
do.
like, studios are like, well, we can push you around. It's so easy.
I like how you said guy, because yes, that's what happens. They're like, are you a white man who's made one indie? Pff, come on in. You're making the next X-Men movie.
But no, I really like her in Kusama. She also did Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, which I think it is a like improperly derided film.
Well, it was weird because it was like Megan Fox's first movie that wasn't Transformers.
Well, I think everybody. Yeah, it was like the pinnacle of Megan Fox hate.
Well, I remember because
And Diablo Cody backlash.
Diablo Cody wrote that script, and so Karen Kusama, she directed it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was Diablo Cody's follow-up movie to Juno, and then so everyone was already kind of shitting on her writing as it was, and then
Me, for sure.
I just made a joke about fucking Home Skillet and Burger Phone, so I'm in the same camp.
Yeah. Well, I can't stand Juno. It is one of the most awful indie.
It's quirky.
tripe
At least now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Yeah, but that being said, I love young adult.
Peaches?
I think
Oh,
young
yeah.
adult
Oh, yeah, Young
is
Adult's really
fucking
good.
brilliant.
I like Young Adult. No one's like talks about it.
Yeah, I think
Patton Oswalt is amazing. in that
Really,
movie.
Oh, he's
and
really
I
good.
think Charlize Theron is like
Yeah.
when people are people are like, oh, she was so brave because she's gorgeous and she got ugly to be in Monster. And to me, like, it's more quote unquote brave the choices she had
because
to make.
she's such an unredeemable character.
Unredeemable,
totally.
and the moment where she's not. It's one thing to put on monster makeup and be an ugly monster, but it's another thing to be just an actual woman with the push-up pasties and have to sit there and sit in an unflattering way that kind of like, it doesn't matter how thin you are, but if you sit in a way, it kind of like shows your gut in a way you don't want. For her to sit there and look ugly in the way that every female or male looks if you're not photographed in the right way is so much more brave than putting on like crazy monster makeup or old lady like because you see her in Monster and you go like, yeah, but I know she's beautiful once there's not a makeup person putting like blotches
Hot
on there
marks in your face.
and just her character is uglier than Eileen Wuornos in Young Adult.
I mean, that's
Like, you feel sorry for
Yeah, well,
Eileen
that's the
Wuornos
thing.
because all this horrible shit happened
Totally,
to her
totally.
to make her a serial killer, and her character in Young Adult is just an awful person.
She's a shitty person, yeah.
But like that scene in particular, like I remember watching that scene, and like that was the scene where like you unrelentingly hate that person, but like the way that like they filmed that scene, and like again, I mean, Charlene's like or Charlize's unlike flinching bravery about it, like it captures a vulnerability of the person to where you go, that is a human person, though.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it's a really telling, like, handsome scene that an actor, you can't go like, I need you to do this. Can you be vulnerable? And the person's just like, and like, how do you contort your face to do that?
Well, while we're on the topic of Patton Oswalt movies that he deserves more credit for,
Fan?
The Fan, dude.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
that ending scene with him and Michael Rappaport, where you think you know what happened, then you realize what really happened,
Right.
and then it kind of turns into kind of like an episode of a TV show, kind of an ending. But everything up until that point, like, I mean, you think you're watching The Fan with Robert De Niro or something, you know?
I loved all the shots of him writing
Wesley
out the
Snipes.
writing out the things he was going to say on the
On the
talk
radio
show.
show? On the
It
radio
was
show?
so good.
Yeah.
Did De Palma direct The Fan?
No, oh, the De Niro one?
Yeah.
Hey, oh.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Nick, go ahead and IMDb. Check out The Fan. It's not the one with Patton Oswalt, but the one with...
The one potentially directed by Brian De Palma?
Is it with Robert De Niro?
Yeah, well, cool. We can see a screen, so we only
Yep.
need... was it De Palma? No, it's Tony Scott.
Tony Scott.
Oh, man.
Oh, you're a Scott guy,
Such
too.
a jerk.
Oh, R.I.P.
I
Tony
remember
Scott.
when De Palma, because I mean, we all kind of obsess about directors, but if you're really gonna bump up to the category of like pop culture famous directors, there's really only like 6 or so. Wouldn't you say? Like of people that your mom and
Yeah,
your,
I could be like James
Spielberg.
Cameron, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I know
Yeah,
the James Cameron."
and,
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, and Steven Spielberg, Tarantino.
I feel like Ridley Scott's probably in there.
Greg Araki.
Almost. There's some big level guys.
Sylvester Stallone.
I think there's some big level guys that people that the most casual of moviegoers don't know who they are.
Woody Allen.
But they were trying to make De Palma, I feel like for a little while, they were going to try and put him into like that name. Like, it doesn't matter what this is a De Palma movie. And I remember for Raising Cain, like the big tagline for it was deranged, demented, De Palma.
That's pretty great.
Well, it's not as bad as whenever they were trying to really push John Turtletop. Like every movie,
Yeah.
like I remember all like Sorcerer's Apprentice, both the National Treasures, were like a John Turtletop picture, and then I was just like, "Are you presuming that anybody has any fucking clue who John
I didn't know
Turtletop
who it
is?"
was until you tell me what he did. Because this thing is like, no, I can see it the way it's spelled
On
and I
the
can see
screen?
it on a thing there, and I was like, oh, I was so glad when you the reveal of. Oh yeah.
You can tell whenever like a director is starting to get kind of in their own asshole, and like, and
You mean Turtletopping?
they're turtle topping. But here's the thing: is sometimes people do it, and you're just like, all right, it's okay, Tarantino. You can put the 4th film by Tarantino on a trailer and stuff. But no. And you know, when Tarantino did it, you were like, all right. I mean, it's like when Spike Lee was like a Spike Lee joint or whatever,
yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
okay, cool, you can get away with it, Spike Lee. But and then whenever like, so Tarantino did that for was Inglourious Bastards was the 4th, or
No.
I think it was actually would have been it would have been
Yeah,
the double
Reservoir
feature,
Dogs,
right?
Pulp Fiction.
Shit.
Jackie
Brown.
Jackie Brown. Then he did Kill Bill. Then he did.
Yeah, so it might have been Jackie
let's
Brown.
see.
Anyway, I remember like the next person that I noticed do that was like the 3rd film by whatever. It was Judd Apatow, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here, Judd Apatow, with that shit." I was like, you Knocked Up was great, but chill out." And to move on to who's doing it now, and I'm totally okay with them doing it. Nicholas Winding Refn, you see he's closing his trailers. With
Oh, yeah.
NWR.
What's weird is
Nick, can you
he's,
go and play
he's
some of
the
that?
last
Oh, yeah.
person that needs to do that, because you can show me 100 trailers and then go, which was the Nicholas Winding Refn one? I could be like, it was that one. Like, I didn't need a signature on it. Like, his style and rhythms are so distinct that you would be a fool to ever mistake it.
Well, we're lucky in the sense that we know like all the PR people in town. So like, have you ever gotten to share time and hang out with Nicholas
Oh,
Winding
yeah.
Refn?
I've spent some good time with that man. He
so
is a very peculiar man.
I hung out with them at this hotel when we were doing this interview.
Oh, yeah,
When he
yeah.
was doing the "Don't Talk During the Movie,"
Yeah,
Only
I-
God Forgives.
I edited that.
Yeah,
It was
that's
very weird footage.
It was like by a pool. He wanted to sit by a pool, and he's wearing shorts.
Yeah.
It was such a weird thing.
Would
So-
it be better if I had a glass of rosé? and then everybody's like, I don't think anybody's like, we should get me a glass of rosé to do this.
The thing was, it was all before I'd even watched the doc about him. Because when you watch the doc, you feel like you know him and his family and everything.
Yeah, like you get to see his neuroses, his vulnerability.
Yeah. So getting to see him in person, I was like, "You're the guy who made that fucked up movie."
Yeah.
But no, he's super awesome. And after watching the trailer for, the Neon Demon, Only God Forgives was a movie that I completely cast it off as being such elitist bullshit, and then I ended up watching it like 20 times. It's like
I really enjoy that movie.
I play it when I edit. I'll play it in the background, so it's not a movie that you have to really.
He would even admit that movie is narratively broken.
Yeah.
But I think it's obtuse enough to still find a lot of enjoyment out of it, because like his themes are still working, even though his narrative is broken to where you like get to explore those things and try to like think about them, where it's still like an interesting movie to watch.
Does he
has he talked about that? Is there a reason why the narrative is broken?
I mean,
is
if
it
you
a choice?
if you watch My Life,
The one is his
Nicholas-
wife did-
yeah, the
I
one
haven't
that's
seen that.
it's a documentary that his wife made about him shooting that movie. Like you just see like it was a nightmare.
And he wears that thing on his around him all the time, like that kind of shawl.
Yeah,
It's he gave one to Ryan Gosling when he did his
like
movie.
there's a scene in the documentary where Ryan Gosling and Nicholas Refn agree to like drive like 4 hours outside of where they were shooting in Thailand in order to do an outdoor screening of Drive, where they were going to each get paid like $10,000 or $20,000 or something, just so they could get money to finish shooting Only God Forgives, because like everything just went wrong on that movie.
Yeah, it's one of those things where two things made me like that movie and then love that movie way more than I ever expected. One, watching the VFX reel of how they did all that shit in Only God Forgives, and you realize how much actual VFX is in that movie, because when you watch that movie, you're like, this looks like an 80s VHS, like gun, like machine gun guys and motorcycles movie. There's probably no special effects in it.
I had no idea.
Dude, like I've talked about before in the podcast, there's a whole scene where like whenever like the guy sticks the
His
thing,
whole face is CG.
well, yeah, but also the fact that every woman in that room is sitting still, and like when nothing, like they don't even respond while this guy's getting like fucking tortured. They digitally went and removed all their blinks. And so there's parts of you that you're watching a scene and you're like, I feel super uneasy and I don't know why. And there's a lot of that shit throughout the movie, like little things with clocks and little things with like eyes and just like, and then also the fact that like there was dolly tracks like everywhere and they just cut it out. But like, so watching the VFX reel made me appreciate the movie. Watching the documentary about Nicholas Winding Refn making the movie made me really really enjoy the movie.
It makes you sympathetic to it and doesn't make you look at it like a snooty art movie.
Well, you see that he's someone who could definitely make another. He could do Fast 8 after doing Drive. You know what I mean? He could have made
never do that.
He would never. but he could have made a shitload of money doing studio stuff. And then like as for his like victory lap of Drive, the same way like.
He literally made Only God Forgives as a reaction to try and lose all of his Drive fans.
He pretty much like where Dylan went electric, and it surprised him that his fans got so upset. Like this was NWR going electric so he could get rid of the fans he didn't want.
If anybody can find me a GIF of somebody wearing the Drive jacket and going up to Nicholas Winding Refn to like get him to sign a DVD or something, like I would just love to see a GIF of Nicholas Winding Refn's face reaction to that person, because like I can only imagine how much contempt he would have for that person.
Like he would not like them.
Oh yeah, no. Like he didn't,
because it's a bro.
He didn't make Drive to be like, oh, this jacket's gonna be cool and take off. Like he made like an art movie that like was marketed incredibly smart. And then like resonated with a lot of people, but like he got so many fans of people that he just like does not like.
Well, no, totally. It's like when I was listening to Britt Daniel be like, yeah, we got a lot of bros at our shows, but what can you do? They buy the albums. But so you can never pick your audience,
right?
And that's the biggest bummer.
But I think that's him trying to pick his audience by like literally, getting as far away from that movie as he can. Even though like obviously like he thinks it's a good movie.
Yeah, let us know.
I think he'll probably circle back to that when he can't fund a project at some point.
Drive 2?
Drive 2.
Is anybody interested in Drive 2?
Yeah. Oh, they will be. At Film Geek Army, let us know on Twitter or tweet us separately or even in the chat right now. What do you think about Nicholas
I
Winding
forgot.
Refn?
Hey, somebody thought Michael Bay's here.
Yeah, someone just said Michael Bay. And then G8 Spectre said the Neon Demon trailer is outstanding in every way.
Yeah, I agree. What's funny is, so I was watching it, and
I almost got to cut that trailer.
Oh, that would have been rad. Because I knew that Fonz had been working on it.
Yeah.
But I remember, I was watching that, and my girlfriend came over, and she was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's the new Nicholas Winding Refn trailer." And we watched the whole thing, and she was like, "That looks really good." And I was like, "You hated Only God Forgives." And she was like, "Yeah, I did." And I was like, I'm going to show you the trailer for Only God Forgives. And she was like, yeah, that does look really good. And I was like, yeah, those Nicholas Winding Refn trailers are a bitch.
I think maybe people go, that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Instead of that looks really good.
Well, I think, it's a little bit of both. You can see, that's the thing is like when I see a Swiss Army Man, I'm like, that trailer is beautiful. There's no way the movie's going to be able to make me feel like that the entire time. Right. So I'm curious to see, how it is. Do you cut trailers?
Yes, I do. That is my profession.
You could take an hour and a half movie that is complete shit and make it look awesome.
I try to do that every day.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Phantom Menace.
Oh man, I remember seeing the Gungans come from between the weeds, and I was just like, goosebumps, you guys.
That shot of Darth Maul with the second lightsaber side pop out. I mean, it sent
Shit.
I don't think
asshole.
I my goosebumps everywhere on weird parts that aren't supposed to have, like on my scalp and stuff.
on your Weebie.
That was I'm a weebs. That was one of the greatest trailers I've ever seen. And like, especially when you didn't know anything about the movie and like that technology
And it made
was
Meet Joe
leaps
Black
forward.
so disappointing. afterwards.
Meet Joe Black's a cool movie. I mean, I'll follow Claire Folliani anywhere, except
Yeah.
like never any. There's some movies that she did with Jason Biggs that I will not
Except
follow
for
her
anywhere that she has to do an American accent.
Oh, is she not American?
No.
What?
If you go back and watch, go back and look for her accent in Mallrats, because she's really bad, and you don't really notice because
T.S.
yeah, it's really yes.
That's so funny. That makes total sense. Okay, so you guys are talking about Star Wars, but I wanted to talk about how that Peter Mayhew leaked like 30 years too
Right,
late.
right,
but
yeah.
he released photos of his original Star Wars script that showed that Obi-Wan wasn't actually supposed to die.
And Han shot first. No, it does say
It
that.
says
Yeah.
that. Did he finally? Oh yeah. I was. So Jen had never seen the original, so when I was showing her the other day, I was like, "You understand this has been manipulated?" And she was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Do you understand? Because
This movie's a lie.
This movie is a lie.
We're burning it. We're burning it after you watch it.
Because it was fucking cool to be a rebel and a badass and murder someone. And that. But the thing is, if
He was gonna kill.
he was gonna,
Han.
he was there to kill Han. Han was
Yeah.
protecting himself. The whole. Anyway, we don't need to get.
Una
As if this
tu
debate is ever.
solo.
We're not having this
couple
debate.
of Kevin Smiths right here.
We're not having the who shot first debate. What year is it?
Yeah.
No. So Peter Mayhew came out and good for him. You know, he's gonna marry his partner after so many years. No.
Oh, really?
no. I'm
I was like,
kidding.
wait, what?
No. He released.
Not my Chewbacca. Hashtag. yeah.
I'd love to see that fanfic. No. But no, Peter Mayhew.
Wookiees don't have dicks.
Do they?
Who knows?
Dude,
Some expanded universe shit.
Yeah.
if a Wookiee exists and hears that, he's gonna come tear off your arms.
Have you
Isn't that
ever-
what they do? Mike, isn't that what they do in the books? When
Yeah, that is. They threatened to do
Wasn't
it in
there a
the movie,
bad
too.
Oh no, there was gonna be like a throwback to that I'm really glad got cut in The Force Awakens about someone getting their arms ripped off by Chewbacca. That was like a little.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
I'm like, I read about it getting cut, and I'm like, thank God, that's
Yes.
way too winky. And the other thing too, well, I don't want to start.
go ahead, no,
Force Awakens.
nerd out.
Well, I how many? I get it.
Like
Like I
in your
told.
nerd voice.
Basically, I think definitely, basically, J.J. Abrams was one of us who always wanted to see what a bowcaster looked like, and then he got a little bit too overzealous with. Can I play with that?
Oh, this thing's fun.
yeah, I like your rant earlier being like out of all the years.
Yeah, out of all the years, and then too, like he said, there's like three
I love this gun.
There's like three bowcaster jokes in there. Like one would have been okay, but not like what is this? But whatever. It's fun. Like I'm not
like I swear to God, he was watching it. and He's just like, all right, do the line. He's like, it's so good. It's so good. I'm gonna rewrite tomorrow's because we're gonna put more of these in there because I'm
we just
loving
make this
these.
whole movie about the bowcaster. Okay, we're not giving the lightsaber back to Luke. We give him a bowcaster. That's the end. You give him the bowcaster.
Did you see the meme that went around? And it was, I mean, it's old, but it was like the shot of Rey holding out the lightsaber, and then it was the reverse shot of Luke, and he's like, but there was a hand. There was a hand with
I
it."
saw that. There was a hand. Was there a hand? Did you find a hand? So so you're talking about Star Wars, and the one thing that I was gonna say is that the one thing that it wasn't so interesting to me that Obi-Wan lived in the first script, and you wonder why that change was made, and was that Guinness? You know. But Sir Alec Guinness, if you don't know, he was the original Obi-Wan.
And he hated every minute of it.
Yeah, he did not enjoy it, and he really hated it after the movie came out.
Yep.
Oh, jeez, because that's the one thing he's always remembered for. Oh, and he was such a good actor. Anyway. The one thing that stuck out to me about this Peter Mayhew script leak or whatever was the fact how they spelled C-3PO's name in the script.
How do they spell it?
They spell out 3PO.
Oh yeah.
It's never C-3PO. It's always THREEPIO.
Yeah.
In the script, it was like that's fucking
What's
weird.
weird is that there's a lot of stuff that says 3PO that way.
Really?
Yeah, I think like it was like maybe for like toy packaging that it just got abbreviated to like C-3PO.
Yeah.
I remember reading somewhere that like in iterations before even that script that like George Lucas never spelled Chewbacca the same way twice, ever. And I mean, I'm not as surprised about that. I mean,
We've all done it. We've all written stuff
Things
and go back and
change.
like, Josh is now Jake. When did I change him to Jake?
and, that's part of the process.
Cocaine.
People living and dying. No, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all that at some point, like, no, this makes a lot more sense for this character to die. Like that adds so much more gravitas
Right.
to the end of it, and I can always bring him back as a ghost.
It was JJ. No, it was somebody who wrote The Force Awakens, like one of the drafts, and he was talking. He was like, "Man, I couldn't crack the story. Like the hardest thing for me was like we had Luke really early on in the movie, but then like." Whenever I was writing the pages, all I did was care about Luke Skywalker. I was just writing more Luke, and then I was just literally marginalizing this character that I went out of the way to establish. He's like, so I had to take Luke out and put him all the way at the end of the movie. And he's like, and that's why we had to like hold off on like Han Solo for so long, because it was just like all you care is about that person. So like you have to like sparingly get them in, because if you had Luke, Han, and Leia all at the beginning of The Force Awakens with our new character, you're like, oh, I don't give a shit about her. What's up with Luke? Tell me everything.
Tell me about the horrible divorce, and I still kind of want to know where shit went wrong.
I
just want to see an argument between Han and Leia about their shitball kid.
Leia, I'm home. Where's my meatloaf?
So, okay, we're streaming our podcast
the poodoo. I'm out.
for the first time ever on Twitch right now, and I want to give a shout out to the Chive that is hanging out. Thanks to Chive, or I'm pretty sure it's my good friend Jeff who does a lot of the streaming over there at the Chive. I did a Twitch stream with my virtual reality company.
I love all of this like technical advice.
Oh no, that's what I was saying. Hey Jeff, thanks for the shout out. Apparently there's a delay on my video. This whole thing was set up specifically for VR, and it worked swimmingly in VR. But I decided, like literally right when you guys were showing up, hey, let's just stream the podcast, and I didn't really think it through. So there's definitely some delays.
We
and
were
issues.
pre-pro for weeks on this, man.
Oh yeah, totally. We had James Cameron working on this.
Originally, my character was going to die by now, but rewrites.
He really responded with audiences, so
Yeah.
we kept him around.
Hopefully we'll
He's
have
got that catchphrase, hanging with the weebs.
Bam!
All right, so let's go over to Twitter now. It's
I hope you get a T-shirt that somebody mails you that says that.
Arrows
With arrows pointing down. It's like a baby's on board, but it
Yeah.
says hanging with the weebs.
All right, so we always ask every right before we do an episode, what is Twitter? What did you guys watch this week, and what you guys think? All right, Nick, and what is everyone watching, and what are they saying? I can't see the Twitter feed on the
Oh,
stream.
wow. This is thank
So-
God somebody watched Over the Top.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. We have at Alex M. Lynn. I watched Over the Top, and it was a beautiful masterpiece of film.
It's got the best soundtrack of any movie of all time, because it's
And-
got like Frank Stallone. It's got some Giorgio Moroder.
If you aren't familiar, Over the Top is the movie where Sylvester Stallone fights for the custody rights of his son.
People say that, but it's so wrong. It's
But
about a father
our-
trying to reconnect with his son on a cross-country 18-wheeler trip to go visit his dying mother in the hospital. But when she dies,
Yeah.
he has to raise money in order to support his child. Otherwise, custody will revert to her father.
So this is a movie where Sylvester Stallone fights for the custody of his son by
It's
arm
more
wrestling.
nuanced than that. There's a man who drinks motor oil before he arm
Yeah.
wrestles.
If you're not sold yet, maybe you aren't familiar with arm wrestling, because there are tables that have handles for your hands
me halfway.
that are made specifically for arm wrestling. This blew my mind. as
And
a
it's
kid.
got the Log Dog on the soundtrack. If you guys like Kenny Loggins, you're gonna love Meet Me Halfway.
Is Kenny Loggins the guy that does Danger Zone?
Yep.
Wow.
And Footloose.
Ah.
He is the literal like 80s hit making machine.
Yes, he is.
And he's got the perfect beard.
And I call him the Log Dog.
a log,
Log Dog. And not to go too far back, this week I forgot to mention I watched Electric Boogaloo, the documentary on Canon Films.
You wanted to watch that for forever.
Yeah,
I
and
remember
I-
like on my first podcast, you're like,
Yeah.
when's that coming out?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, it's
I
really good.
finally
You should-
randomly
So
found
good.
it on Netflix, and it's great. But Over the Top isn't the movie, but it's one of like 3 movies that sunk Canon Films because
No. That movie was Master of the Universe.
No.
Life Force.
No, Masters of the Universe and Life Force were still but like they had to pay Stallone at the top of his career. They gave Stallone like more money than he'd ever got to do like a 3-picture deal, and because they were trying to go from B movies up to A, and there was like 3 movies that essentially like destroyed canon, and who were just a company known for not amazing scripts, but kind of totally fucking amazing
I
scripts.
love every story that I've ever read
Yeah.
about Menelem Golem.
Yeah. Oh.
So shout out to Steve in the Twitch chat who says, "Over the fucking Top. What a beast movie."
I showed that movie in 70 millimeter at the Alamo Ritz, And as a surprise, I bought everybody his Bano hat that he wears, that he turns on like a switch. I was just like, everybody, we're watching this movie in 70 millimeter. And everybody's like, yeah, we arm wrestled beforehand. And I go, and I bought everybody hats.
That's awesome.
It's the best day of my life.
If you ever get a chance to see Over the Top in theaters, definitely go check it out. Unless you are pregnant, then I suggest you do not go because there's too much testosterone
Because you
in that
can't
movie.
get double pregnant because that movie will make you pregnant.
Or it'll put hair on your balls. It's like that's something my dad used to say all the time whenever like something was too spicy or hard or something. He was like, "I'll put hair on your balls."
Your dad was gross.
I don't want that.
He's the shrimp boat captains. They have a way of words.
It's cool. I'll shave it right back off.
What else is on Twitter?
At the Big Bun watched Bernie with Jack Black in it, and it was the weirdest movie I've seen in a long time,
It's a
honestly.
delightful movie. I love Shirley MacLaine in that movie.
That was the movie that I got to meet Jack Black on because my girlfriend at the time was was in wardrobe on that. And that's when I got to see him play at the Long Branch.
Whenever he did like the
like Mustang Sally and was like
right.
playing. I remember because of course I've got to go up there and be like, I'm going to talk about some obscure cool shit.
So you weren't at a mansion for this party?
Huh? No.
Was there gold? Was there gold everywhere?
No.
Was there beautiful women hanging on you?
Dude, you can't knock on me for name dropping after you start every show being like, so I was hanging out with so and so celebrities.
You did start off with
No.
directors.
But I did preface with it was a very foreign world that I was invited into.
You can preface whatever you want when you name drop. It's still a name drop. But no.
Anyway, so me and Shia LaBeouf.
But I remember that Linklater was very adamant that this was his Fargo, that Bernie was going to be his Fargo. I don't think it's nearly as great as Fargo, but I enjoy the movie for what it is, especially at the end when it shows Jack actually chatting and hanging out with the real Bernie. And the weird thing is, I almost got to meet the real Bernie.
Yeah.
Because he lives with the Linklaters now. Do you know about that?
I knew that he lived with him for a time. I didn't know that he.
Addresses and zip codes.
You take the left at
Yeah.
McDonald's.
So he was at 2332.
Yeah. Anyway, but I remember reading the article that like the guy from this movie Bernie was being released because the movie did so well that it painted him out to like be a really nice guy. So he was released, but only at the Austin house. So we might have to go to the Round Rock house or whatever. I'm saying too much information. Anyway, but I remember being like, oh shit, that's so weird because like
Mention specific
addresses
and zip codes.
You take the left at McDonald's.
So he was at 2332.
Yeah. Anyway, but I remember reading the article that like the guy from this movie Bernie was being released because the movie did so well that it painted him out to like be a really nice guy. So he was released, but only to the custody of Linklater.
Which is insane.
This is so weird.
I like Bernie, but it could have used more punk band lead singer, like his next movie.
Punk band lead singer. Is
That's
that
my
is that your
official
title?
Yeah, that's my official title, and everybody wants some in theaters now.
I hear that movie's a lot deeper than it should be. I mean, some people have said it's not as deep as it should be, but I know Marin, and then I think Devin Faraci wrote a big review that was like, this looks like a Porky's guys that are just trying to get laid movie, but
It is the greatest movie of all time, and you should all see it in the theater and write to Linklater and say the best scene was that punk band. You should hire that guy to be in all your
all
movies.
the time. I think he's doing a Lyndon B. Johnson movie next, and I think he's going to hire
I'll probably
Mike
be in
Woodman.
that.
They need a punk band.
Probably do that.
You're his
too.
Samuel L. Jackson.
He's really doing an LBJ movie.
No, I was just trying to
Oh.
say that you'd be LBJ. No, that would be bad on his
I would be a good
Doing a Michael Bay biopic.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Well, before we read the next tweet, the one thing I want to say is that you never know, because with Ryan Johnson, the kind of career that he's going to end up having, because like when I was talking she was like, what, is there any movie that Linklater has ever done that like blah 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 didn't ever like that wasn't so like nostalgia about growing up from his point of view? And I was like, yeah, and I just named all his studio movies, and I was like, the Newton Boys, and Jen was like, oh yeah, he's
Bad News Bears.
Yeah, she was like, and School of Rock and all those movies, and she was like, I guess there's like two Linklaters. I was like, yeah, there's always been two
Yeah,
Linklaters.
there's the guy who cashes the checks and then the guy who spends the money.
Yeah, and then and the guy who writes the movie that just lets everyone know what books he's read lately. Because there's so much of after like the Sunrise and Sunset movies are like. So I was reading this book and it's like Ethan Hawke, and then she's like, and Julie Delpy be like, yeah, I read this book once in college about. I'm like, these is all just Linklater talking about all the books he's read because only one person wrote this script. But don't get me wrong, I love those movies.
Yeah.
But no. So going to that, maybe Ryan Johnson might make two Ryan Johnsons. You never know. Maybe he might have the really brick Looper one, and he might
because Yeah, I mean, like Brick is the indie one and Looper's the studio one. But the studio one is still pretty idiosyncratic and awesome.
Maybe he'll do it in a sense where he'll have movies where he just kind of encapsulates like other kind of filmmakers.
This
and
podcast is brought to you by Ryan Johnson.
yeah, we do. Oh, Ryan Johnson. All right, Twitter. What else did you say?
All right, so there's 3 left, but 2 of them pertain to the same movie, so I'm going to group them together. At 1, Rai7, and, I'll say his tweet first. I watched The Jungle Book, liked this one's ending better than the cartoon's ending, and there were a lot of CGI animals. And then at Matt317A, saw The Jungle Book, loved it, great cast, great visual, lots of heart. And when I tweeted out the thing that we tweet out before every show, I asked how many CGI animals did it have in it, so that's why they noted the CGI animals.
I really liked the Jungle Book, and I thought it was good, but I thought it had like a nasty second act slump, and then it sticks to the landing at the end.
Oh, what do you mean? Like this? Like it just kind of started to neander?
Yeah, like it starts really dark and really cool, and like you're really into the world, and like all this stuff is like, oh, you have to go see that in a theater because it's like Avatar like level of jaw drop. But then they get to second act where he like meets Baloo and like he like leaves like his wolf pack, and then it's just like it's Bill Murray.
Are you talking about The Hangover?
And then they just like hang out, and then all of a sudden like Bill Murray breaks into a song. And you're like, well, that's very odd. And then
Are there no songs to that point?
No songs at all. It's
is
a very
is that
dark.
the only song?
No, then there's one other song, and it's even farther out of left field because like Christopher Walken plays like this mob boss, like gigantic orangutan.
Yeah.
And then he launches into the King Louie song from the cartoon, and you go, well, that is way out of left field. Like the Baloo one, I could like write it off as like he's like a feel good happy bear, but the Christopher Walken song, I was like, that is weird.
Greg, did you notice the cowbell in it?
I did not notice the cowbell.
Like Mowgli picks up like before King Louie appears, and there's like all the stuff in his like sort of palace area.
Oh yeah, no, he does.
to
Yeah, he
wake him
does
up,
ring
it's
it.
a cowbell.
Yeah,
I get it.
Good
I
one.
get it.
Good one.
Really, it's a funny.
That Jon Favreau. Textured.
You know, I've not seen it, but I did see some just on the late night shows, people coming by kind of pitching it, and they would show clips of it. I saw the scene with all the elephants walking by. It feels like there's a lot of nods to the cartoon, right? Because there was a tiny elephant.
Well, I
character.
mean, so that, I think that's the difference between the doomed Andy Serkis one and this one. This one is from Disney, based off of the cartoon movie that they made, whereas Andy Serkis's is based on the original Kipling
Rudyard
novel.
Kipling, which people are going to be like, this didn't happen in the Jungle
Yeah,
Book.
where are the songs?
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
this movie.
That sucks.
Well, I'd feel terrible for Andy Serkis because it's like he's sitting on like a $200 million movie that's got delayed by 2 years, and now somebody else is basically releasing the same movie and making
that happens.
all of the money.
I remember when Baz Luhrmann and Oliver Stone both announced that they were both making Alexander the Great biopics.
Yeah.
And so the one that Oliver Stone did was Colin Farrell. I forget who his wife. His mom
Angelina
was
Jolie,
was his
Val
mom.
Kilmer was his dad.
Yeah. And then in the Baz Luhrmann one, it was going to be Leo DiCaprio as Alexander the Great, Nicole Kidman as his mom. And then the whole thing was put on pause, and then it just went away.
Yeah.
Because the
Didn't want to get in an Armageddon Deep Impact
it's,
situation.
but it's not like the Colin Farrell one did like really fucking great either.
No, that movie was
bad. All right, so that brings us to the end of the podcast, right, Nick?
One more tweet.
let's do it. God.
At you, Syria. I watched it. Okay. I watched 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I guess one CGI animal in quotations.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
I liked it.
10 Cloverfield Lane. And on that brings us to the end of the Film Geek Army podcast. Mike Weeby, where can we find you? You're doing the funniest
Comedies.
guy
You're
in
doing
Austin,
comedies.
right?
Comedy, yeah. I'm in a big comedy contest tomorrow, and hopefully I'll advance. And I keep saying it every week, and it keeps moving around, but the Draculas have a new music video that's supposed to be out either this week or next. It came out really good, so I'm excited to show that off.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And how's your lung?
My lung is doing pretty good. I'm kind of still physically recuperating, and thank you for everybody that sent nice things and tweeted at me and sent money and love, and I love y'all. Love you.
And one last thing, the Twitch chat is saying that they also watched Jungle Book and they loved the CGI in it. They thought it was really awesome. And then someone else is saying, how does Over the Top have a 70mm crop?
No, the best part about it is it was not shot in 70mm. Interesting fact about it is they shot it on 35, but in order to maximize the soundtrack for the movie, they wanted these 6 mag tracks that come attached to a 70mm print.
Yeah.
And so if you ever get to see that movie in 70mm, it's a blow up from 35, but the soundtrack is raging.
Good to know. And I'm JJ Castillo. Find me on Twitter at Jose Jones Film. Follow Film Geek Army on the Twitter at Film Geek Army, and go to filmgeekarmy.com to listen to all the podcasts from the past and pick up a sticker and stuff. You know, actually, we had someone from I think it was Germany that ordered some stuff, and then. We didn't have the size shirt, so I just refunded them their money. And you know what they did? They went back on the website and bought a bunch of stickers instead.
Aw.
And I was like, that is
Thanks,
so
Germany.
fucking awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time right here on the Film Geek Army podcast.
Goodbye.
I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope we didn't fuck it up too much. We'll get better. We promise.